Hi, I'm Erin, and this is my art style challenge video. Um, I'm showing my style first, and I guess that means it's only 9 art styles aside from my own. But anyway, it was a really fun challenge, and it didn't take me as long as I thought it would. But you can definitely tell which ones I was influenced by to get to where I am, and which ones did not influence me at all, just by how long they took me to do in this video. I usually don't do videos this long. This is probably going to be my longest speed paint, at least, unless I decide to do other content on this channel, which I don't think I will, but we'll just see how that goes. Now, Inuyasha was a show I grew up with, and I haven't seen it in years, and I fell out of drawing in the style when I was in middle school. I very much went through that phase of wanting to become a manga artist. Even though I never really read manga, I just watched anime, and then I pretended to be one of the cool kids who could read manga. I was never really good at reading. Because, I don't know, I could read novels, but comic books, just the way that they were written, it confused me. Even nowadays, it's hard for me to read them. Which I need to work through, like many other things. But it was a very interesting style to try to attempt. I haven't done anything in a similar style since I was probably around 13 or younger, and so it was incredibly difficult. This one headshot probably took me around an hour just because I was trying to figure it out for so long. The hair especially. No one in Inuyasha or any other of Rumiko Takahashi's or however you pronounce her name, I'm sorry for mispronouncing. They all have the same hair. Like, it's all just short versions or long versions of the same hairstyle with the same bangs. Like, it's all either Kagome's hair or Sango's hair. They just have the same haircuts, and no one has an updo unless it's like a top knot or a receding hairline or both. So that was probably the hardest part, was the hair. That and the eye. There was this one character named Jininji, I think. I'm sorry for mispronouncing that. I'm sure I am. I tried to base the eye off of his, but then I was like, because I thought he was a Cyclops from memory, but he isn't. He has 2 eyes. So I tried to base this character's eye off of Jininji's, but it did not work out very well. That's why I had the lines there, because Jininji has the stress lines, I guess, or something around the eye to show them bulging out, and I wanted to include that, but it looked like he had Zuko's scar from Avatar: The Last Airbender, so I kind of gave up on that quest. But this is the one picture that I don't really like very much that I did. Just because even the colors, I adjust them multiple times, I just can't get it to look right. And it's just, if I ever do this challenge again, I'm sure I'll try to do the Inuyasha style again, just that way I can prove that I'm not incompetent. It was really fun to try, if not extremely frustrating. So, while I had a lot of fun, I had even more fun when I was done with it. Now with Pokemon, I, like many other people on the internet my age, grew up with Pokemon. I didn't start out with the video games like many people did. I started out with the anime because my family just wasn't a very video game centric family. We had a Sega Genesis, and I can't remember if at the time it was a very old console or not. I'm not that good with gaming stuff. But when I was 10, I want to say, I got my very first DS, and with it I did not get Pokemon. I got Nintendogs because I knew nothing about gaming. I didn't even know that there were Pokemon video games. I just thought it was a cartoon. And I loved the cartoon. The cartoon was like my life next to Inuyasha and Kiki's Delivery Service. But then during one summer, one of our neighbor kids, one of the neighbor kids, he lent me Pokemon Emerald, and that was my first exposure to Pokemon in the video game form. And I have been hooked ever since. I have played not so legal versions of the first gen. I've tried to. It's not as fun because I like the newer Pokemon games. I have not played Gen 5, I think it is, Black and White, just because I kind of fell out of Pokemon at the time. I was a freshman in high school around that time, and I was too broke, and I was too stressed. So I didn't really play video games for a while. I did start playing again when X and Y came out. My then girlfriend bought me, her and her best friend bought me Pokemon Y, and I played the crap out of it. I played it so much. I think I even finished the in-game that there was. I'm not sure. But I almost cried when GR-yasss came out, and then when Sun and Moon came out, I was so excited because it's a bird. The starter is a bird. I love birds. And it's a grass bird too, and I love grass types. And I wouldn't say grass type is my favorite, but regardless, I was just so excited. And now Pokemon Sun and Moon and Ultra is coming out, and I'm even more excited. I can't wait to see what happens. It's going to be awesome, and my expectations are very high for this Pokemon game, purely because I just adore this series. The drawing in the style is so fun. I have original characters in this style. I need to draw more in this style. It's a little bit frustrating to get the hang of after not doing it for about a year or two, but I have made OCs in the past, and I have unfinished trainer OCs, or trainer, like, class replacements for, like, AUs, and I really want to get back to doing it. I do Pokemon Fusion a lot. I do it with my friend Ash, and we just sit on Skype all night and do Pokemon Fusion, and it's so fun. I'm just really glad that I got to have this series as a staple in my life. It's pretty much the only thing that hasn't changed in the almost 20 years I've been around. But yeah, it was a really fun style to experience. I'm glad I got to practice with this one. But yeah, I haven't drawn much in the older Pokemon styles. I can't remember if the original character, or at the time it was more of a sauna, but I've changed so much since then. I can't remember if I think that was before Pokemon Sun and Moon were announced, so I may have to go back and redraw myself in the Pokemon Sun and Moon style, especially with how I look now, because I look different than what I did in like 11th grade, which was when I'm pretty sure I drew that. But yeah, I don't enjoy the older Pokemon style as much as I do the new one, just because the older one's more angular and it's not as flowy, and the hair is more ridiculous, which is saying something. It's more ridiculous in the it looks like broom bristles kind of sense, instead of the, oh well, her hair's just a blanket in Lucamine sense, if I remember her name correctly. I'm sorry, I'm probably not. But yeah, with this one, I think it's where I set the general standard for the colors, for the desaturated colors. I tried to go off of this for most of what I'm doing for the rest of these, because a lot of these, except for maybe two, are they're very desaturated styles. They don't really focus a lot on the color aspect. They focus more on the dynamic stuff, I guess. I don't know. I'm not a professional. Now, this style, I think it's the third one. I want to say it's very near and dear to my heart, but that's mostly just the company. The first ever Ghibli movie I saw was Kiki's Delivery Service, and I adore it to this day. It's one of my favorite movies, if not my most favorite movie. It's just, I don't know, I connected to it a lot as a kid. I watched it when I was 4, I think. I think it was the Disney dub, but I still remember watching it for the first time just because it left such an impact on me. But this style is very fun. It's very open, and I think I used the reference picture of Kiki flying, which is why the hair looks like that. I just thought it was really fun, and while it might not be the most dynamic, it is very flowy, which is a very big thing with Studio Ghibli movies. I haven't seen all of them. I always feel bad mentioning that whenever I'm with my friends who are very big Ghibli fans, which most people are, honestly. I haven't seen all of them. I've seen most of Spirited Away, I've seen all of Kiki's Delivery Service, all of Ponyo, and all of My Neighbor Totoro. And that's it. But yeah, I just adore Ghibli style, and I adore Kiki's Delivery Service. It has to be my favorite movie of all time, if I can make that claim. Just because it's just about freedom and coming of age and growing up. Now this style is, I guess it's more Studio Mirror instead of any specific, like, Quora team project. I grew up with Quora team's work. I watched Avatar: The Last Airbender when I was really little. I grew up with it throughout, like, I think up through middle school. Then I grew up with Quora in high school, and now I'm watching Voltron as an adult, and I'm just glad that Quora team could just kind of grow with me, I guess is the way to put it. I don't know. I've always enjoyed their work. I used Hunk as a reference image for this just because I figured my character would have a similar body type, if not much shorter than Hunk, if he were in this style. And I don't know, it was just a very fun style to do, and I do mess up on coloring the eye, but I go back and fix that later. But I did cut it out just for time's sake, and I don't want the video jumping around too much, though I don't know how well I fixed that. So this next one is Steven Universe, and you see me cropping the image, and that's just because I was planning on doing 15, but I was running out of ideas, and so I ran out of TV shows eventually, and I just couldn't figure out anything else to do. So I didn't want to end up doing a bunch of different artists' art styles, but I do end up doing one, which you'll see in a few minutes. But in comparison, Steven Universe is very similar to my style, compared to the others at least. It's very round, very expressive. At least in my opinion, my style is expressive. I don't know. But yeah, I'm not a professional at this. I just want to be, I guess. I don't know. I'm not the best at voiceover stuff, but I do draw in the Steven Universe style a fair bit, especially with Lars, because he's such an adorable character to draw. Now with Gravity Falls, you see I started with drawing two eyes just because I was looking at the reference too hard and I just forgot what character I was drawing. This style is very fun and very expressive. It relies very much on dynamic shapes, and it was pretty fun to experiment with. I doodle Gravity Falls characters a lot to warm up. I doodled some of them earlier. I didn't include that in the video though, just because this was long enough as is. And anyway, it was a really fun style to practice with, just because it is so round and you have to think about kind of in 3D the way the body like leans and lunges, and but yeah, all that technical stuff aside, Gravity Falls is one of my favorite TV shows. This, Steven Universe, and Voltron are the main shows I'm watching right now, I think. I'm rewatching Gravity Falls. I've been on Gravity Falls kick recently. Now, Over the Garden Wall I guess it was something I kind of bonded with my dad with a bit. We watched it together, like, probably about the year after it came out. I didn't even know about it at first, because at the time I didn't watch TV, and now I don't even have cable. But it's just because I wasn't really watching television. I mostly just watched YouTube and stuff online and live streams. But This is a series that is very close to my heart. While it was only a few episodes, it really left an impact on me. And again, this is a very fun style to draw in, just to figure out how everything can be simplified and morphed into just a bundle of shapes. Because Over the Garden Wall is mostly just circles and tubes. And that's a really fun thing to figure out. Like, this was probably the easier one to figure out how to incorporate the eye in, just because they're just circles and I can just forego the nose. Now, Rick and Morty, it's a very, very simplistic style, and I think that's what makes it so difficult, is to figure out how the characters work in this shape, I guess. Like Over the Garden Wall, it's very circular and stuff, but it's also more crude. It isn't trying to be cute, it's just more scribbly, and that's what I like about it, I guess. I don't really know if I like how this turned out. I think I made the pupil too big, but I made it so big because the eye is huge. But it was it probably only took me about 5 minutes to do this one, just because it was such a simplistic style, and I really liked that. It was really easy, but it was very difficult at the same time. It had its own level of, what am I doing on it. I really do enjoy the show, though. I can't wait for the rest of season 2, and I'm excited for it. And here we are at the last one. I couldn't think of any other cartoons to do, and at least not at the time. Later I realized that I could have done Adventure Time, but everyone does Adventure Time, and it's very simple. It's a very simple style, and while that's fine, I just wanted to do something more detailed anyway. I hope the artist whose style I drew doesn't hate this. I hope I didn't butcher it too much, but I did do Lavender Town style, and everyone who does these challenges does Lavender Town style if they do an artist style, but it's because Lavender Town style is so cute and amazing. I watch her tutorials a lot, just to see how she does certain things. Like, she talks about shape language a lot, like circles, triangles, squares, and while we don't really have that similar styles, I have incorporated it into how I think about my characters. I'm working on different projects right now, and I'm definitely using that I'm thinking about it while I'm drawing them for different things. My favorite thing to draw was definitely the eye, just because it was so round and it had the little heart. And one of my favorite things to do is draw eyelashes and all this stuff. And her characters have very big eyes, and that was something that was really fun to do, especially, obviously, since this is a Cyclops. But it was just really fun to attempt her style, and I'm really glad I got to. And it's great practice to try other styles. She talks about keeping things in mind a lot, like how to, like, what you're supposed to remember or what you should remember, if it will help you and stuff. And another thing to keep in mind is that you can try other artist styles and see how you warm up to them, and try to come up with your own from that. It's something that a lot of young artists, and sometimes even learned artists, are wary to do, is try other people's styles, because I know for me it's worry of like getting in trouble or something when it's not going to happen. It's just that fear that's always there, like, or finding someone that has a similar style to you just through coincidence, and it has that sharp fear of like, oh gosh, what if someone is like, what if someone finds them too and sees my art and thinks I'm copying them? And the thing is that you can't let that hold you back. You can't force yourself to change style, and you can look like someone else's style. A lot of people have similar styles, just because we're humans. Nothing is going to be 100% original. It's like the saying about writing, there's always going to be the original story, and you have to keep that in mind. Not everything is going to be different. And we're getting towards the end of the speed paint itself. While some of this was slower than speedy. But I just want to say that I'm really glad that I got to do this challenge, and I hope to do another one again soon. A big thank you to In Love with a Ghost for allowing me to use their music. I am very grateful. They are one of my favorite music artists, and I listen to them all the time. I highly recommend them. Their information is in the description below, as well as mine. I do commissions, and the way to get that done is to contact me via Gmail or Twitter DMs. I also have a new Instagram, and while there isn't much on that, I plan to rectify that soon. I have a handful of other speed paints, and I am planning on uploading more. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you for watching.